I'm back. And this is somewhat of a story time and a funny story time. However, I have told this story before and it's still always funny because I label my life as a independent romantic comedy sci-fi coming of age film. And in my live earlier today, I told the story of my Sunday, which was the most beautiful Sunday, and how I said yes. I said yes to getting up and going, and yes to getting on my bike, and yes to acquiring my favorite Earl Grey tea, and yes to going to the beach, and yes, and the whole day opened up. And I spoke about during that day, I had stopped with a new friend of mine to the laundromat, or as my mom calls it, the wash house. I call it the laundromat. So while I was in the laundromat, yes, exactly. It is. So while we were in the laundromat, the topic of cleaning came up in the live, and I do enjoy cleaning. However, if you invited me to clean your home, especially if you're a gentleman, it would be a swift and immediate no. And how I enjoy having someone clean. And then I remembered this story because I went into how I know how to clean. Of course I know how to clean, but I am not, thank you, ever going to come to someone's house to clean. And the expectancy of me cleaning your home is like ridiculous. However, there was a time where I came across this precarious situation. And at the time, I was based and living in London, and there was someone who would come and clean once a week. She would come twice a week. So she would come one day to clean, and the other day she would come just to do all the ironing. So let's say every Tuesday she would come to clean. Every Thursday she would come just to do the ironing. And she was great. However, I'll take it back. So prior to this woman who, yeah, exactly. To sleep better on a camping trip? Yeah, actually, okay. Just concentrate on maybe the nature sounds, or if you're available for anything edible, like an edible medicated supplement that may help. And I will have a story about that after this. So that's the advice I would give you, Kelly, on a camping trip. I typically would sleep well outside because of the nature sounds, aside from the ground, because the ground is like hard with rocks. So if you're on a campground that's hard with rocks, listen to the nature sounds. So yes, the maid would come one day to do the entire cleaning, let's say Tuesday, and then on Thursday come to do all the ironing. So ironing of the sheets and ironing of clothes. I love to have things ironed, and just ironing in general. But prior to her being employed as the cleaner, there was a set of twins. And the twins were identical twins. And I actually didn't know they were twins. Thank you for sharing the live and liking the live. However, I started to see some inconsistencies because there would be instances that the woman would clean exceptionally well. And then other weeks she just wouldn't. It was particular because at times she was exceptional. At other times she would like leave early and leave stuff half done, and it didn't make sense. I didn't even know they were twins. Furthermore, I didn't know that one twin was exceptional while the other twin was about to get the other twin fired because she was terrible. Yeah, I have no trust issues with anyone cleaning. I will teach you how to do it, how I enjoy it, and I am all for it. However, I understand that. I'm particular about my, I understand. So, once I found out they were twins, I said, wait a minute. Your sister's about to get you both out of a job because one twin was exceptional. The other twin was not. And the non-exceptional twin is about to get her and her sister both out of a job. I mean, it just was ridiculous and hilarious because I didn't even know they were twins. I thought they were the same person who just sometimes cleaned well and sometimes didn't. But they were twins, and one twin got the other twin out of a job. And again, I was living in London at the time. So the twins were originally from Latvia, Eastern Europe. And they had they ended up moving back to Latvia. And so there was a new person that was found, which was this nice young lady who was also, I believe, from Latvia and was still learning English. And so she would practice some of her English with me. And so she was still acquiring a grasp of the English language, which isn't easy, because English is such an irregular language. There's not many rules compared to other languages where there are distinct rules. You can say can't or cannot in English. In other languages, especially like French or Spanish, you would just combine the words. English, there's not distinct grammar rules. So when you are acquiring it as a second language, it can be somewhat difficult because the language rules aren't distinct. And as we progressed, because she was there working for quite a while, several months, and was exceptional. This was a new woman after the twins had left, the bad twin and the good twin. So she was exceptional. She would go above and beyond. She was so kind, and she would love to practice her English with me. She was really a kind person. And then I was there while she was cleaning. This might have been a year into it, possibly more. And as she entered the flat, I noticed a familiar sweatshirt. And the sweatshirt appeared to be mine. A sweatshirt appeared to be mine. So she entered the flat, and I looked and I saw what appeared to be my sweatshirt, which was interesting because I had not seen this sweatshirt. I had actually been looking for this sweatshirt, and now the maid comes in appearing to wear what is my sweatshirt into the flat. So that's already like, that's not good. And whenever she would come to clean, she would usually change or maybe put her clothing inside out, not to soil her clothing. So as she entered the flat, immediately to her right, there was a powder room where she could change. And she went into that powder room and turned the sweatshirt inside out. And she comes out of the bathroom or the powder room with the sweatshirt turned inside out. Now, there's already alarm bells in my head, because what it looks like is the maid is here to clean. However, the maid is appearing to wear my sweatshirt, and I live here. And now the maid has gone into the bathroom and turned the sweatshirt inside out. And now she comes out preparing to clean the flat. And I'm thinking, okay, Hope, this is very interesting, because not only have I never been in this situation, I'd never been in this situation. I don't really know how to operate in this situation. But it appears that you are wearing my property inside of your workplace of business. That's already not going to work. Okay? It's not going to work. I've been looking for this sweatshirt. I can't find this sweatshirt. Lo and behold, you walk into the flat wearing my sweatshirt. This is all bad. And this is in December. So I immediately reached out to a friend of mine who was constantly hiring and firing maids. Like she had expertise. However, she didn't pick up her phone. So I was like, okay, this is not good. Because that is definitely my sweatshirt. And you probably shouldn't be wearing my sweatshirt in your place of business. Like, yeah, probably should have thought, let me leave this at the house just for today. When I go to work today, this sweatshirt I'm not going to put on. But that was not the case. And she walked in with the sweatshirt. Alarm bells go off for me. And I'm always looking for solutions. So I'm thinking of the solutions, because she's turned it inside out, and she proceeded to go upstairs because it was a bi-level flat. So she started upstairs and then would finish the first level. All the while I'm thinking, oh, baby, yeah, well, you out of a job now, because this is all bad. This is all bad. And I just thought, I said, well, maybe it's a coincidence. I will give you the benefit of the doubt. It was from a retail. It was from like a chain. It was from I think it was Mango. It was this sweatshirt. And I said, let me go into the wardrobe and see if I can find it, because maybe it really is hers. Let me do my due diligence before I say you've cleaned yourself out of a job, because you already have. However, let me do my due diligence. I know I've been looking for this sweatshirt, but maybe there's a chance that it's actually yours. So I go upstairs, I go into the flat, I start looking for the sweatshirt. To no avail, I don't find it. Right. So now, again, you're in the employer's flat, wearing the employer's clothes, which will mean that you will no longer be employed. And even in my mind, because I wouldn't steal anyone's things, so even within my mind, I'm thinking, no, it couldn't be. It could not be. It could not. It could it? Could it? No, ain't no way. But there was a way. And so I called to my boyfriend at the time. I was like, listen, it appears that the maid is wearing my sweatshirt. He was like, no way, Hope. I said, yes, that's definitely my sweatshirt. And I just went to look for it, and I can't find it, and I haven't been able to find it. And he said, well, then let her go. And I was like, now? Look, I'm going to let you finish the job, first of all, and then I will go and proceed with the letting you go of this present job that you have. And again, this was in December, late December, so near to Christmas. So she finished cleaning the flat. And I don't believe I don't remember at this time if she turned the sweatshirt right side because she had it inside out. So I don't believe she did. I think she just put it in her satchel that she brought and proceeded to say, okay, I'll see you next time. And remember, I had mentioned she was still acquiring the grasp of the English language. So although she could build sentences, she spoke Russian and Latvian and some other Eastern European language, but English was still something she was learning. So I said, listen, your services will no longer be necessary after this day. Now, as a native English speaker, that makes sense. You know what that means. You know that means, oh, okay, well, this person is letting me go of employment. If you're not a native English speaker, that doesn't add up to that. In fact, it's quite confusing. She said, oh, well, no, I'll see you on Thursday. I'm coming to iron. I said, no. You don't have to come Thursday. In fact, you won't be coming back at all. Your services are never needed. You're no longer needed. What? Yeah, I'll be back on Thursday. I'm like, okay, this is not like being received. Okay, so you will no longer be cleaning here. No, I've already cleaned. I'll be here Thursday to do laundry and ironing. No. You don't understand. And she really didn't understand, or maybe she did, and she just was playing. Either way, I had actually let her leave the flat, go down the elevator, and we were outside of the doors. Exactly. Outside of the doors of when you came in and there was like a doorman or concierge, whatever that was. So we were right outside these doors having this conversation that is not being understood. She doesn't understand that you ain't coming back, okay? You're already wearing my sweatshirt. You entered the place of business in my sweatshirt. It's not the best idea. Therefore, your employment is no longer necessary. She's saying, no, I don't understand. I'll be here on Thursday. I'm saying no Thursday, no Tuesday, no nothing. You just won't be back. And she was saying, yeah, I'll be back. And it was hilarious because I, as an exceptional communicator, was thinking, okay, how can I say this in the simplest form? Even you're fired may not be understood as even the term of how we understand it. So I just said, you no longer work here. You are not working here. And this was like 20 minutes. This was hilarious. If you would have been a voyeur from the parking lot and we're trying to have this conversation, I'm trying to fire her. She's not understanding what I'm meaning, or she's maybe not taking no as an answer. And I'm trying to think of other ways to basically say, you are no longer working here, girl. It's done for you. It's finished. Kaputs. Not here. Not now. No, it's done. And I said, listen, you're not working here because it appears you have my sweatshirt. That looked like my sweatshirt, okay? She says, oh, no. My mom bought this for me. I said, your mom bought this for you? Well, listen, again, this was like, this was early 2010, maybe 2000. This wasn't like this was about 10 years ago. So that might not have been a viable option. Now, that's what I would have done. But if this was 2012, that's not like an option. And it's very awkward. So we're outside the apartment building. I'm trying to fire her because she is wearing my sweatshirt to the best of my knowledge. She's not understanding. I say you no longer work here because you're wearing my sweatshirt. She says, no, my mother bought me this sweatshirt. And I was thinking, But when we talk and you practice your English, because she's Eastern European, I remember you telling me your mother still lived in this Eastern European country and she hasn't been to the US. I'm remembering this in my head because I remember everything. And I said, your mom bought this for you? She said, yes, when she went to America. And I was thinking, but you told me your mom never went to America. Okay, all right. So, sure, yes. But you are no longer employed here. I don't, not Tuesday, not Thursday, not ironing, not cleaning. You no longer work here. And she said, I don't know why, but I understand. And possibly, it is quite possible. The only factor was I actually went to look and I couldn't find it. So that was already unsettling. And if you're in my home cleaning, that is automatic, like that's not going to work. However, the funny part is the lack of communication that could be understood. And I believe she put it in a bag. That's the thing. I believe she would come with a bag with like other clothes to clean in. Yes. Maybe she was, but in reality, she didn't actually grasp the English language as well. And I've learned a language. I understand that can be very difficult. I can completely give all the benefits of the doubt. Still, this doubt is out of benefits, okay? I don't ask all that stuff. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is I have a job to do. And this job is quite difficult because I don't speak Russian and I don't... Exactly. Yeah. She did, of course, sweatshirt, she did understand. And that's when she said, no, it's not yours. My mom bought it for me when she went to America. But I remember in our conversations, she had said her mom has never... It ain't working. All I know is it ain't working and you ain't working here. So that's just it. Okay? Don't come again. It's done. It's finito. And I'm sorry, it's right before Christmas, but that sweatshirt saw you out of a job. I still can't even find the sweatshirt. But the sweatshirt is done and you done and I'm done. This has drained me for everything. I've been trying to get you to understand. And not only am I out of a cleaner, now I'm out of a sweatshirt. Now I'm out of a sweatshirt. Okay? I'm out of two things. And both are pivotal to me. I want the sweatshirt and I actually want you here, but now you're done. And I don't even know that. I'll give people the benefit of the doubt. It could be. It was from like Mango, which is an offshoot of Zara. It could have been. That's why I have the conversation before. I always will, for myself, have the conversation before. There is a chance, and I give that chance. However, it was uncomfortable even thinking like, whoa, well, if that was taken, were there other things taken? And geez, and I remember her contacting my partner at the time and telling him, I understand, even with that, Yemaya, if there could have, I still would have let her go. But if she would have said, you know what, Hope, I did take it. And I want to be honest with you, I did. I still would have let you go because within the position that you're in, trust is very important. And that is the one thing that you would be let go for. If you were late, I can understand that. But theft, you are always going to be in the home. So I would respect and understand you being completely honest. However, if you revealed that truth to me, you would still be out of a job. Just like the cleaners before, the twins. One twin was a great cleaner. The other was absolutely atrocious. One twin saw the other twin out of a job. It just happens. Exactly. So it was hilarious, though, from a voyeur standpoint of me trying to communicate this and her saying no, and it was like, okay, even if you're trying to stay, yeah, can't. That's still my sweatshirt, and I still did, and the sweatshirt still walked off, and you still walked off with a souvenir. So, as I said, I'm out of two things. And trust is paramount. Trust is paramount with everything. And I will respect if you say, I did this, I stole this, that was her present. Basically, it was her going away gift, and whatever else, that was whatever else that was there. Exactly. The bottom line was violating the trust, and it feels like a true violation, because then I have to think, like, what else has been, let me go through and catalog. I don't know, but I'm out of everything. I'm out of a cleaner, and I'm out of a sweatshirt. And it was a cute sweatshirt too. Like, well, all my stuff is cute. I won't wear it if it's not cute, but still, I understand. I had that happen. See, I don't take things. I have a sister that always takes things, and it's frustrating to me, because to me it is that violation. And it's more of a violation because I really invest in my pieces. Thank you. Not introduce more burdens. Exactly. What's up? Well, I'm back. Yeah, I understand that. However, I let it go. It's a one-off. If I continue to carry that, I'm not going to put that on someone else. I allow for myself. I allow everyone's experience with me to be their own unique experience. I do not say, since you did this, everyone will do this. That doesn't benefit me, and that is too heavy for me to carry. That does not mean everyone will do it. This is a one-off. However, since I had a sister that would always take my things, it's a trigger point. And since I invest into my pieces, and a lot of them are beautiful vintage items from around the world, it's a true violation. And let me take it a step back. With someone I know, I see it as something different. It's not that you're stealing, it's the fact that you saw something you liked, and instead of saying, I will go get it myself, or I will use that as a influence to buy something similar, it's, I'll just take this. Which is not how I think, and I think how I think. I don't think anyone thinks like me. We don't. Everyone thinks differently. But that thought of, I can't get it, so I will take that, is disheartening to me. Because for me, if I see something I like, I'll just buy it, or I'll have that influence. Oh, I saw that, so I want something like that. I'm not going to take it. It doesn't mean I can't have it because they have it. I can just get my own. But to take mine, it's all bad. And not very kind. So, no, it was a sweatshirt. My favorite book, I'll sit with that, and I will respond during this live at some point. So I remember when I was living in London in a different flat, and I had two flatmates. And one of my flatmates, yeah, I don't either, but that's why I live on my own now. What's up? I am from a large family, a family of 6, so I don't care to have that. And I won't do that. But I'm not everyone. I allow people to show up. No, not in my home. For me at this point, no, that's quite a bit. However, that could be a possibility, but to have all the surveillance on my things all the time is not a step I'm willing to take in this moment. And So when I was living in London, I had two flatmates. One was half Belgian, half South African, and she was my hairstylist for several years, and she was amazing. And my other flatmate, he was half German, half Nigerian, and he was very attractive. He worked in the city, which is equivalent to like Wall Street of London. And young, and had finished his master's at university in Germany, and had came to London to pursue his career in finance. Of course, I want to get comfortable with people. I don't live this way. I don't live with my guards up all the time. That will cause burnout. I'm not around certain people, but I'm not going to assume everyone is out to take my stuff or harm me. I don't stay in that place. That's not comfortable for me. So yes, I do get comfortable around people. If I'm living with my boyfriend, I'm very comfortable with my boyfriend. If I'm in a space, I am comfortable. I choose not to be in a space to assume that anyone has malicious intent within my intimate surroundings. That's not what I carry. However, I assume I can see that perspective completely. But that's too heavy. I won't carry that. I don't even carry the perspective that people are out to hurt me. But that's my perspective, and there is a saying that individuals will typically have a perception of how they are. So since I wouldn't take anyone's things, or since I wouldn't have malicious intent, I don't assume that others would have that for myself as well. So yes, in response to this, yes, I get very comfortable within my space and around spaces that I trust people. So yes, two flatmates. Now, the gentleman, I think we were quite young at this time, maybe 24. And he was in his heyday of singledom. And he had a very good career in finance in London and was a banker. And it was the first time I had really had a roommate who was a single man. I was raised with, I have 4 sisters, and I was raised with 3. So I had never had a male roommate outside of my father, but my father is my father. So this is when I encountered just his day-to-day life, where he would go out and then bring someone home, and that's what he would do, which is absolutely fine. However, I was a flight attendant at the time, so sometimes I would be gone, and I would often, because it's London, and the UK weather is probably the worst in the world. On my off days, I was often traveling because the weather is just misty and cold and rainy and gray and overcast at all times. So I remember being gone, and my room was upstairs in the flat. There was 2 rooms upstairs. He lived in a room downstairs in the flat. And I am meticulous about order. I am very meticulous of how everything is set up within my space because I would travel often. It's easy and good to know where everything is at all times, which I would do. So I would always know where all my things were. And I remember being away, and I came back. And I went into my room, and I could just see, like, this isn't how I make my bed, because I'm meticulous about the way I make my bed. I make my bed like similar to the way a hotel would make your bed, with the nice folded over corners and my pillows puffed up and all the accoutrements, everything. And it wasn't that way. And I thought, okay, I see that. That's different. Okay. But who would be in my room? Because no one would. We actually never entered each other's spaces. So I went to, I think, put on some earrings. And I was thinking, where are these earrings. And then I start looking around like, what in the world? Where are the... Wait a minute. Let me just plug in my phone. I need to charge my phone. And my charger wasn't there. And I thought, well, maybe she came in the room to use my charger and forgot something of this nature. Thank you, Chris. All I know is then I started putting everything together. Like, that's not how I make my bed. There's creases and it's always made nicely. I'm trying to find these earrings. They're not there. Where's my phone? Who's been in my room? Someone's been in my room. I immediately knew it wasn't the girl because she just was always respectful. I knew it was the guy, and he was the worst flatmate that I've ever had, aside from my sister. They were neck and neck. But he was just not very clean, and all things bad that you would look for in a flatmate or a roommate. And for you, okay, not for me. It's 9:35. And nice to see you. So I stormed down the stairs because in London, most people have stairs. Everything is stacked. And they're very steep stairs. I stormed down the stairs. I was like, I know he did this. I know he did this. I know he let some girls in there while he was trying to get with some other girl because he would go to the club. And I knew I had already figured out what happened. So I stormed into the room like, who was in my room? Were you in? What happened? Because a lot of my stuff is gone. And rightfully so. If you take my stuff, you're going to get great stuff. I will say, the only great thing is you will really get some good stuff. The stuff that you'll get is going to be like limited edition, and they took all the best stuff. They took some earrings that I bought in Germany and a custom made coat I had made in Beijing and some limited edition shoes. It was all limited and custom from somewhere in the world. Good for them. They have impeccable taste. I'll give them that. But when you're taking it from me, that's not, it's not ideal. But I always try to see the bright side. Good for you, girl. You did rob a great wardrobe. So I said, what the heck happened? Because my bed is always like perfect and you had someone in there. Tell me. He told me the truth, which I appreciate it. It did not help. But I was correct. They had met him and his boys, his friends, had met some girls at the club, brought them back to the flat, and he wanted to hook up with one of the girls. So he had the ingenious idea to let her friends hang out in my room. I don't know what that means on a flight attendant's salary. Please clarify. And so the girls had a heyday, and I guess there was like 4 of them in my room while he was trying to figure it out with the other young woman that he had acquired. And while they were having their fun, the other girls went on a shopping spree. And you know what? I always say, it's thank you. Yeah, well, I hope they were inspired because they got some great pieces with some great energy. And energy is in clothes, so they got some great things. But it was like, and I told him, you're going to pay. You owe me like 300 pounds at least. And he was like, of course not, Hope, but I think I got money from them somehow. Because we continued to live together, all of us. So that was another time, but outside of that, I haven't, and outside of my family, is the first time that I've had someone take something from me. And it just was like not a comforting feeling. And I knew it because I always know where my phone charger is, and I do make my bed impeccably well. So that was the other story, when he let some girls just hang out. Why don't you let them hang out on the stairs? What? Of course, yeah, enter her beautiful bedroom. I'm sure I can see the way his brain would work. It just, jeez. But even now, that was so long ago, I don't even really remember all the, yes, I'm making that up. I do remember everything they took, because they took great things. And it happens with flatmates or living with people. And that's why, no, this was so, never, ever. I would never want that. I'm a pacifist. Energy, what you put out comes back. I would never, ever, ever want that to be done, ever. So I'm just responding to someone in the chat that said, do you want me to beat them up? I would never want that to happen, ever. Whatever you do comes back to you. It all comes back to you. I'm never going to harm an individual physically. That will naturally happen, and I believe that. So that's not something that I would even think about. Aside from maybe the time I drop kicked my sister, which is the only time I took that act of violence. But sometimes that has to be done, and it felt good. But then I said, no longer will I do that, and I will not. Yes, I do believe these things just come back, and it was a funny story, just like with the maid. It was hilarious trying to establish this thought. And unfortunately, I did not know that language. I was then. Listen, I can be if I don't let it get to that point. However, there is a sibling that I was told our siblings are our biggest teachers. And I was a teenager at the time. But yeah, I did a running kick. I did a running jump kick that I saw from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because I used to love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And, oh, wow. See, that I would assume like they needed it more than me. Anytime something is ever withdrawn from me, which isn't often, it's to make place for that thing that's better. And I don't wish vengeance. That is funny though. That is really, really funny. That your car was stolen and you received a ticket and you went to the address and you saw your car. That is hilarious. I don't, something better is coming. And I always know that. I allow that. I get over things very quickly. You have to. Would I keep the car? What do you mean? Would I keep the car that if I saw, I'm not stealing a car. I'm not stealing anything. And I won't even steal your heart. I will allow it to be given to me with grace. No, I would leave that. Whatever you put into the universe comes back, and I put a lot of good. If you are not lucky, or I know that you are always stealing people's stuff and talking bad, I don't even want to be around you, because I don't want to be there when it comes back at all. I'm very lucky. Everything always works out for me. It always works out. Get away from me, okay? Go. I can feel the energies, and well, thank you. You see, I don't even want to steal your heart. I'll let you give it to me. But as I said, if I find something else, I'll leave you with a quickness, and I have no qualms about that. And I've never met someone where I said, I can't live without you. I know I can. The only person I can't live without is myself. But maybe I just haven't met the right person, because everybody I've said, yeah, I like you a lot, but I could live without you. And often I do, and I will leave you in the dust. I put that out there with ease. I will win a better opportunity, and it's not always a better relationship. It's just if it's a career opportunity or opportunity for me to expand or travel or move abroad, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave. You. There is no conversation. The conversation is, I'm leaving tomorrow. And I've had that conversation, and that's it. You could cry, you could say hope, but why? We did talk about it. There is no conversation. A talk means that we are finding a solution. The solution is, I'm leaving. You're staying. I don't know what you're doing. And I know you will continue to be successful in everything you do. But I'm out. Okay? Goodbye. I've already forgotten about you, but the time was good. And that's also one of the best ways to separate from someone, to say, when I was a flight attendant, oh, I got my transfer to London, so I'm going to be gone in 2 weeks, and we can make this really easy. This won't be long distance. You're welcome to visit, but as far as the relationship, it is finito. It is done now, because you will get replaced. And I have said this in my other lives. Listen, men and money are easily found and replaced. They easily come. I never worry about either, okay? I'm not going to shed too many tears. I may. Not intentionally, but I have. Guess why? Guess why? Because this experience is for me. This experience is for me. And that's it. This experience is for me. It's not intentional. However, growth does incur some of those changes. Growth does incur some of that discomfort. And I'm not going to string this out. This is done. I've tried that. It doesn't really work. But the best way to break up with someone is to move to a different country. I do know that for sure. Thank you. Thank you, Marissa, about the compliment for my hair. So yeah, goodbye. Goodbye. Absolutely. Yeah, I care. I can show empathy for your discomfort. And I know you love me. And I know you loved me. And you can still feel that and cherish the memories. And I'm still leaving. And that's what it is. Period. What? I loved you. Yeah, sure. So I'm still going. It's great that you did. No, I'm not. I am a fire sign, though. It's great that you did. And I liked you too. However, so you say that, so I should say, you know what? My dreams of living abroad, I'm going to not do that for you. Absolutely not. Not happening ever. Ever. No. For relationship? No. The only relationship that is that important is me. And my mom would say, that's dumb. The hurt I impose will come back tenfold one day. I don't care. Because I choose to do something that's best for me, I understand that will hurt you. That's not done maliciously. That's done for me. Definitely a Sag. Definitely. That has nothing to do with you. It actually has everything to do with me. So it will not come back to me 10 times. No, I don't. That's the thing. Go. Go. Oh, I'm always. Are you insane? I have the opportunity to live in a foreign country already with the job. And I should think about saying no because you're sad. I don't care about that, to be completely honest. I can have empathy. However, no. If I did, I wouldn't have this story, and I wouldn't have continued to build upon what I've learned and expand and grow and make new friendships. Yeah, that's okay. I don't care if they understand my energy. In fact, they probably love it because they're like, man, there is nothing that this girl is really just on the go. I'm sure they would say, where is Hope? I really miss her. She was so much fun. And then she just left and I never heard from her again. Yes, you're absolutely correct. This is about me. Well, the thing is, now you have that story to tell. So you can tell someone else, listen, put that relationship on the side. You do what's best for you. I don't know. That's what was best for me. That's what was best for me. I don't know what's best for you. What's best for you is the most I don't know. But I am a really fiery Sag. I don't reserve anything. Listen, I don't really I don't think that hard into it. Okay? I don't think that hard. Listen, okay. You have to understand, the love is me. I do love you. You are great. But you aren't me. I'm me. I gotta go. In fact, I'm already gone. We're on the phone talking about this. And, I'm guided by me, but I trust me. I love me. I listen to me. I believe in me. This is what I speak about. It's about the confidence. It's number one with my confidence. Actually, let me change the order. Number one, it's the foundation I came from, which would be my mom and dad. And I mention them in a lot of my lives. They are my board of trustees. A board of trustees is a board that really operates companies. They have insight. They have knowledge. They are trusted. I trust them. I love them. I came from a great foundation. So for me, I always know I can always go back home. But if the opportunity comes, I'm going to take it. If it doesn't work, I can always go back home. I've never had to. However, I can always go back home. I don't understand that, Jerry. If you was here, you would be one of the guys or little sister. Maybe I clarify. I don't know. Listen, kid in a candy store, you don't know most women. You only know the people that you've attracted within your lifetime. But there's 3 billion people on this earth. So even to say that isn't a completely accurate statement. This is for me. I don't know how other people are. That's what they are. For me, this experience again is for me. There we go. 7 billion. There we go. I don't know how most people are. I know how Hope is. And I know, again, baby, our time spent together was great. And now it is done. So thank you very much. You have been pivotal in my life in some way. And we will both continue life. It's not detrimental where we will never be able to operate. No, it is uncomfortable for a short amount of time. And then life goes on. That's a part of it. That's a part of it. However, bye. Absolute goodbye. Done. See ya. Not even looking back. You could go ahead and call me for my birthday if you would like. But my life is for me to experience and learn. And there's something that I have to learn that maybe I have to share with my voice and give back in some way, whether that's a man or a woman. I don't know. Either gender may have this come up. My passion is from just living life, sharing, I'm an exceptional communicator, and not everyone has had these experiences. Maybe by me sharing this illuminates something, or it encourages something, or it adds to a perspective shift, or it creates a feeling, something. Because I am very brave. I understand that. Not everyone is. And I have compassion, and I understand that as well. I don't know. You need to do what's best for you, kid in a candy. So I don't even know what that means to give your whole heart. I don't measure it a fourth, a quarter, I don't know. Trust me, I am not the one you should be asking about relationships initially. Let me tell you that. However, I am glad. Thank you. I'm glad I added to you, because that is my goal in life. I am just seen and heard around the world because I am hope. I'm a hopeful. Have I ever been in love? I've been in types of love, but yes, a type of love. The biggest love I have is with myself. I've had wonderful relationships, and most of my relationships have been for several years, like 3 years, 5 years. I'm typically a long-term monogamous. However, I've also turned down marriage proposals because I know when it's right. And I have seen a exceptional example of what a partnership is with my parents. And I have seen them talk things out, and I have seen them enjoy each other and learn from each other and love each other and like each other and take walks. And so I know what it looks like, and I've actually constructed what it will look like for me. However, I trust what I feel, and I will know when it's right. I've been in fabulous relationships until they weren't. And it's one of the greatest lessons for me to grow and learn about myself through another individual. And I really cherish the gentlemen that I've shared my life with. They're amazing individuals. Oh yeah, I'm always one of the guys. Yeah. I'll share a story about that. I am typically that, like the little sister, or because all my friends are beautiful and I'm like I'm like the sister, because they know they can't get at me anyway. I know all your ways and I respect it, but we aren't there. I've mastered the art of speaking from, my father was a great orator, and really traveling on the plane helped me, but I help with speaking too. That's why I'm a speaker. So yes, I'll know when it's right. When it's right, I'll know, and I'll know this is it, and everything I said before doesn't matter. It's not it. Also, for me, relationships are about timing. For me, it's timing who I am, what I've adjusted to, how I've grown, what I've learned about myself, what I've let go, what I can relinquish, what I call in, and the opposite person, and when we meet and it clicks. My father has always been an exceptional speaker in many different ways in his different careers, and he has just been that noble guy. So my first line of teaching was from him. I have been told that I play a little of the keys, but I have been told that I have piano fingers. I do. I've also known that this is a characteristic of Native American, and I actually have my Choctaw card. I'm a Choctaw Native American as well, and that is a characteristic. Like long, tall, lanky, muscular, slim, like I know. Well, listen, maybe that's on my to-do list. User 187. Maybe that's on my to-do list. However, within relationships, I'm really content within my own space. So I don't seek someone. I attract. I don't chase, I attract. However, I have a great time in my own space. I love being with myself. I love traveling with myself. I love reading a book or going hiking on my own or going to a restaurant on my own or going shopping or to the spa or whatever I do. I don't crave partnership because I enjoy myself. And my time as a flight attendant was often with myself. So on layovers, I didn't want to go out with them. Most of them were whack. And I don't want to go out with you. Y'all are going to the cheap, listen, some of these flight attendants would go to the worst restaurant. Okay, all right, I'm taking your recommendation. I will. They would go to the worst restaurants that they've been going to for the past 20 years, where they could get a carafe of like $5 wine, and it was a 5-minute walk from the layover hotel. I'm not hanging out with you. I don't want to be around you. In fact, after I get off the plane, I'm not going to talk to you. So I was often with myself, and I loved it. And I also grew up in a family of 6, so I'm used to being with people all the time. I love my space. And if I go to a restaurant, they say, "Are you by yourself?" I say, "No, I'm with myself." There's a difference. I'm not by myself, I'm with myself. That's the best place to be. I'm my best friend. I'm having a great time. I'm with me. What you talking about? I'm with me. So, yeah. If I'm in a relationship, that's great. When I'm not, that's great too. There's a time for both, and I don't see a negative to either. And I actively, after the ending of a relationship, I will say, okay, I choose to first of all, sort out. Like, I will give myself a year minimum just to like see what I learned. Actually write down, what did I learn? What came up? What was a point of contention? What is something about me that will not show up in the next relationship? It's really like a worksheet, because I find relationships are one of the best teachers of ourselves and of our wounds and of the things that come up. Oftentimes it may be of insecurities, which will lead to something. Thank you. I appreciate that. And it can be cathartic, yeah, to learn about myself through it. And learn like, oh, I'm sad about this, or listen, she can't be replaced. She has her spot. Hope will have her own. And there was a time after my last relationship where I said, yeah, I'm going to just enjoy me. I'm going to enjoy me. Thank you. Without even the thought of what's next. And I am also like this all the time. There's been times where, and this is my perception, I don't know if this is true, where individuals may think this is an act, or this is part-time, or this is not always me, and how I say, I'll leave and I'll go and I'll travel and I'll do this and I'm going here. That's really me. It seems so attractive and somewhat of a novelty from the outside, and at times it could be daunting. Yeah, it's all the time. And not with any of my relationships. This might have been with people who were auditioning for that role. If they were not comfortable in themselves, it may bring out the discomfort in them. And that definitely has nothing to do with me. And that definitely won't really translate well. So, yeah, exactly. And I had a friend who said, I hate being alone. I said, well, why? It's yourself. I don't know, because I'm depressed and I drink myself to sleep. I said, well, why would someone want to be around that? Like, you just want to go and make someone else miserable. Maybe sit with that and understand why why there's this discomfort within your own space. I don't want to be around that. And some of these mofos just want to bring you down with them. Ain't happening. Dodge that. No, I'm way too bright of a light that will be, like, deflected from me. However, I have had friends in my life, thank you, Chris, who have said that, like, I hate being alone. I just hate it. Well, it's your life. Most of the time you will be with yourself. So sit with that. Figure that out before you go and just unleash your baggage to someone else. That is not helpful. In fact, that is not compassionate, and that is not responsible of a human being to do. Try to show up better. Try, because then you'll typically attract what you need. Or you can best discern what's for you instead of just saying, I don't want to be by myself, so you'll do. No, no. I am really sifting. Of course it is, because if you don't like yourself, which I understand, I understand how that can happen. But that may not yield the results that you seek. That may not allow what is best for you to come to you. And it is a part of that silence of being with yourself. Oftentimes that discomfort. And why is that discomfort there when I'm with myself? Because I'm with myself. So why is it uncomfortable? Maybe it's uncomfortable because something is trying to get your attention and you refuse to listen or hear or feel. And once you do, it's a whole different perspective. It's a new you. However, yeah, to be in relationship with someone else is to be in the best relationship with yourself. And that means something. So yes, you will. Thank you. As you should. I don't appear, I'm wise beyond my years. So that all came from the fact that I said, I will leave you, and I will. But there will be a time that I won't. And until then, I will, thank you. I will, leave when the opportunity arises. However, now, I have to say, now it's a different space where I'm like, yes, partnership is great. And a partner, that's what will attract to me, a partner. Like we are in this journey together. We can help where sometimes we may need help, and we can assist, and we can be our own unique individual people and be together in our unique way, and it will work in that way. Yeah, there's more that you can accomplish by, I don't know. Because even the work you do on yourself while you're alone, you actually see it when you're in partnership with someone. Because then whatever you've worked on may show up in a different way. And it's both. It's a symbiotic relationship. However, just sometimes learning to love and like yourself. Yeah, that is the purpose. Well, not help. If I can just allow someone who's younger than me, a young lady, to just be intrigued and listen, then they can learn. It's like those teachers that just talk to you like this and you don't want to listen because there's no relatability. But if you're listening and you're thinking, wow, she's cool. Oh, okay, I get that. That you're going to learn because you're already pulled in. You feel a sense of intrigue, maybe a connectivity, or you see an element of yourself, or you'll hear a topic that interests you. And this could be for either gender, of any background, of any religious choosing, of any nationality, of any color, all of that. Because all of this is really universal. And it's only because I've just dared to try to find out. And that's what I did during my 15 years of flying. And I remember my mom saying, when I told her, Mom, I was hired and I'm going to be a flight attendant, she was like, I'm very proud of you. And travel, see the world, learn yourself, do everything you want. Because when you settle down, everything changes, and you'll know. You'll know when you want to, but don't settle until you're ready. Especially as a woman, see the entire world. And I really cherish those words because I have. Sure, that is true too. I understand that, Iris. And I've seen the world thousands of times. And these locations, it's like I've been there hundreds, sometimes thousands of times, everywhere, just under 60 countries. And I lived in London, I lived in Paris, I lived in New York, I lived in DC, now I'm living in Hawaii. I'm to the point where I've seen so many places, and I will continue. I'm past that seeing places. Now I see a place and I say, okay, I want to live there. And I'll just move there. That's where I'm at. And I've always seen myself with multiple homes. One in the south of France, and maybe one in Costa Rica, and maybe one in Senegal, and then one here in Hawaii. I see this very expanded life for myself. I always have. I traveled a lot. Yes, I've been here in Hawaii for 4 years now. She'll think it's funny until she sees someone that's done it. And I traveled with my family during my formative years. So prior to me being with the airline, I had already been to every state and all the national parks and in the premium cabins. And I already had that within me. I always loved the expansion of what happens to my mind when I see a place. And what I love about Hawaii is I love being outside. Being from Central California, we would often go hiking in the Sierra Nevadas or go to Yosemite or Morro Bay or Monterey or up north, the coastal mountain range. There's so much outside, and my father loved to be outside and fish and hike and pack granola bars and make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and go off into the mountains with his 4 girls. I loved it. I've always loved being outside. I've always loved the water. I've always had a pool in the backyard. I've always loved to swim. I played water polo. I love the water. So Hawaii, when I thought of moving here, it was actually a choice of, I had 3 locations. And I was living in New York, New Jersey, next to the base, the airport. And I said, okay, I'm ready to leave. And I know I want to leave and live outside the country again. However, I don't want to be too far from my parents, but where do I want to be? So I had made a list, and on my list were these 3 locations: Hawaii, Bogota, Colombia, and Tokyo were my 3 places, because there was a base in Japan. I've always loved Japan, and I'd been there several times. And I said, well, yeah, this is, we have similarities, but we're all different in unique, beautiful ways, but they are special. I love them all. and just living in Japan, what that would bring out of me and what I would learn. And that's what I love about moving somewhere, what I have to learn and what I will adapt to and what I will let go of, and the things that you learn when you live in a space opposed to just visiting. How I saw Paris prior to living in Paris is completely different things. How I viewed London prior to living in London is two completely different things. And there's elements that you learn whilst living there. So Bogota, I loved Colombia. I love the grammar structure and how Colombians speak Spanish. It's just melodic and beautiful. And I said, oh, then I'll pick up that accent and I'll perfect my Spanish. And they have an exceptional healthcare system. Their general population is very healthy, and there's elements about the social structure which I enjoy, and that's what I look at, as well as Japan. And with Hawaii, it was like ticking off, like, okay, yeah, I want to live on an island, but what type of island? Do I want to live by water that's cold? Do I want to kind of touristy? What do I want to do? Because I was very meticulous about crafting that list of where do I want to live next. In fact, I spoke about this. What do I want to feel? What do I want to feel when I go outside? I want to feel the perfect weather. Okay, what is that? Is that 72 degrees? Is that 40 degrees? Is that rain? Is that snow? No, that's sunshine. That's blue skies. That's 81, 83 degrees with a slight cool breeze. That's the most perfect temperature for me. Because at that point, I can jog outside and it's not overwhelming, or I can do something outside without feeling overheated. Because I grew up in a place where it would be dry heat, 100 degrees, 110, with no humidity, no breeze, just hot, hot. And I love the water, and I love the culture, and I love the abundance of flowers and fruit you can like eat off the land, and just being able to comfortably be outside most days. And I gathered this because I had traveled all over, but I had also lived in DC and New York and London and Paris and grew up in California. So I knew winter. I know about snow. I definitely know about rain from living in London for all those years. And that's not something that I loved it. I experienced it. I learned how to layer because of it, because of that temperature. However, I no longer want that. I don't want that. I don't want that rain all the time and all that gray, misty. No, didn't. Don't ever want it. Ever. Ever. And the body does the best when we are in a warm temperature, especially as we progress within life, just within our joints. But that's what worked best for me. And I remember coming to Hawaii with a friend early 2019, and I felt it. Yeah, I grew up in the Central Valley, so not far from Modesto. Not far from. In fact, I was born in Merced, so right down the street from Modesto. And I felt the energy. Now, I am definitely intuitive in that sense. I can feel a place. There's places I've gone to where I feel like, okay, there's something that, I don't know, it just has a feeling. It had a feeling. It's like Dakar, Senegal. It has a feeling. I would go several times, and there was years I would go for my birthday, and it just has a feeling. It just feels good. I don't know if it's the vibration of the place. It's something intuitively within myself. There's places in the world that just feel exceptional to me. Now, I mentioned it earlier. It's a fire sign, but you'll have to scroll up because it's in there. And I lived in highly populated cities for just about 15 years. Like, I didn't live in a place with less than millions of people. London and New York and even DC, well, the district, all of the surrounding areas. And so to somewhat slow down would be Hawaii-esque. And I said, whenever I travel, I would often travel to these warm destinations. So I'm living in London, and I would go to, I don't know, the south of Spain, the south of France, the south of Italy, or Montenegro, these warm places. Now I want to live where I would vacation. And I will vacation in the cities because I've had it. I've lived there. I don't miss it. I don't miss it. And I said that would be what worked for me. Sag. So when I decided, I consciously started seeing myself there, and I speak about this. I just started envisioning myself like walking outside under the Hawaiian sun. And I remember going to a Goodwill, and when I walked in, there was this Hawaii keychain. I said, okay, I'm going to buy this. And a Hawaiian dictionary and a thesaurus. And I said, okay, I'm going to put this right on my nightstand. So when I wake up now, I'm seeing this. I'm almost predicting, like placing this in my current for my future. And I placed this Hawaiian keychain on my keys. So where I lived in Jersey at the time, every time I went to open my door, I was physically seeing this Hawaiian keychain opening up my apartment door. But it was that preparation, so to speak. And I do that whenever I'm going to a place or preparing. Yeah. More so because it's already done. I already know I'm going to be there. I'm just stepping into it. So even if it's 6 months away, I'm starting today. And I would say I'm so happy that I moved and everything is working out. I'm big into that. And my father would speak to me about how your words are important. Choose them carefully. And I had spoken about this. What streamlined the move was, yeah. I don't know if that's a sign. Yeah, sure, I'll take that. I had a emergency landing, and I've spoken about it on a few lives. That was the catalyst for my change. Because I had always been like, I'm going to do something, and I do it. Now that decision time of I'm going to do something and actually doing it is very short. As soon as I decide yes, it's done. I just start. And with that emergency landing, that changed my life. I spoke about it on my last live. That live is actually on my YouTube because I go live twice a day when I feel. I don't have distinct times, but if you like listening, I upload all of my lives onto my YouTube page, which is under the same name, Hope is Speaking. And I spoke about the post-traumatic stress I had from that emergency landing because the left engine failed while we were in the air. And it changed my life because I thought I was living. And I said, okay, I got to really live. I thought I was, but am I living where I want to live? No, I'm living close to the airport, which is convenient. I'm no longer doing that. I'm going to live where I want to live. Am I driving what I want to drive? Well, I'm not driving at all because I'm in the New York City metro area. However, what is the car that I want? Not what can you afford? What would be the most? No. I don't want any of that. I want exactly what I want. If this thing called life does go like that, if it is that unpredictable, yes, I am living that it will end. Therefore, I am choosing for me. And that allowed a space of for me, truly living again. It's never, yeah, and even that, maybe people do regret things. I don't know. For me, it's not about a regret ever, because everything led me to this moment. If I would have made a different decision, it would have been a different outcome. So it always works out. And I've really lived. Listen, I've taken some chances, okay? You can go through my TikTok page or on the YouTube channel, and even the things I've said here. I've really experienced some things. But that was a catalyst for change. And I allow those moments to reinvigorate my direction in life. I was already going to move to Hawaii, but then I streamlined it. Like, this is definite. Let me start clearing out the stuff to allow the new in. So to speak, yeah, because I was really, I mean, it was a moment where, and I just spoke about this last week, I took 90 days off because I was very shaken up, and my post-traumatic stress was in full force of that, and I knew my days of flying were numbered. However, what does this mean? Does this just mean I'm flying around to have fun and I've done everything? If I've lived in all of these cities that I've dreamed about, I lived it. I've been in some of these social interactions that people go online and say, wow, I wish I was there, and I was there. But so what? It's still just a building with people. Regardless if these are people that you know their names, it does, so what? So I get to say I was in there with this person that you know from a movie. So what? That doesn't mean anything. At least it doesn't for me. I'm glad I did it, because now I can see that doesn't add to my life. It did at one point. It no longer does. What am I here for? How am I adding to this space? How am I adding to this? Is this just for me to tell everybody where I've been? No. How about what would be next? If my obituary just said, Hope, 15-year career flight attendant, period, that's what really scared me. That's what really frightened me. Because I knew this voice was there. And I knew these other passions that I had were there. But I was saying, this is good enough. I'm a flight attendant. I can fly all over the world. I've done this. I could do that. I could live here. I could live there. I mean, who am I if I'm not Hope the flight attendant? If I'm not Hope who's in this country one day, in this country, what does that mean? Will they still love me? Will they still like me? Am I still, oh, I need to listen to that, because if I am convoluting my self-worth and who I am with what I do, I really need to get a hold of that first. That has nothing to do with me. I'm meant to be here for a reason. And flying may have been a part of it. It is a part of it, but it's not the combination of all of it. So what is it, Hope? And during those 90 days that I took off from flying, I really thought about that. And I had spoken to my therapist about that, and just journaled and said, what is it? What am I here for? I have to be here for more than I was at this red carpet with some, there has to be something that can be helpful in some way. And I always knew I had this voice. And I really knew that I was out to see the world, to gain the experience and the stories and the knowledge and the wisdom of what I've learned from these 60 countries, or whatever it is, to maybe share with someone that hasn't. That happened in, I think it was March of 2019. It was either March or May of 2019. And I had always wanted to be a speaker. I had always had it in my mind. I would always listen to these speakers, and I thought it was such a legacy and how helpful, because I would follow these authors and these speakers, and I loved it. However, it's the authenticity. It's the authenticity, because what I will always share with you is what I'm currently doing or what I've done. I personally choose not to speak on, I will not speak on anything that I haven't done or am doing, because it won't translate. When I say I'll leave you, it's because I have. However, if I hadn't done that, you wouldn't even feel it through the screen. There's an energy. And I said, that's next. That's what I want. That's it. Because, yeah, people have said, man, you're inspiring. Man, you know how to speak well. Wow, people really like when you come and you tell your stories. And I thought, yeah, but that means I have to be seen. That means I have to be seen. And you remember, Hope, when you were seen in school and you were at the top of the class, and then people didn't like you because there was shine on you. And you remember how that hurt you? And you remember how people who you thought you were friends just started to act different? So you turned your shine down, and you did not want to show that part of yourself. Remember that, Hope? Is that what you want? And that came up. I said, oh, I gotta listen to that. I gotta listen to that. I gotta listen to that fear of being seen. And understand what that means. And to be seen means you need to be seen. Especially for what you do. Thank you. I appreciate that. And it was a conscious, deliberate effort. I knew I would get to this point. I also knew that space to release my former life had to be there. To really mourn that loss. Being a flight attendant is not just you go check in at 8 and you go home at 5. It encompasses your entire life, because you're with these people and you travel the world, and it's a very different experience. It's almost like a celebrity experience, because everywhere you go, it's priority. You get to the airport and you have your own line, and you get through, and you check into the hotel and you have your own line, and there's someone to pick you up, and you get discounts everywhere, and it's unreal. It's really unreal. I was in Brazil Thursday, and then I'm going grocery shopping in Paris next Tuesday. So give me your grocery list, because I'll be at the grocery store. Oh, and at the end of the month, I'm actually going to be in Tokyo. And so we're going to go there for the cherry blossoms. That was my entire adult life until that point. where I would really say, you know what, let's go to Milan for a pizza. And we would fly to Milan and have lunch and then fly back to London. Or, hey, let's just go shopping in Paris. And we would hop on the plane and go to Paris. And then when I moved there, it just, yeah, so what? I've done it. I've done it. Hope you've done it. What else is there to do? Now you can do it in a different way. And having these conversations with myself. Now remember, this was 2019. And when that happened in either March or May, I had told my family, now I had told y'all the days were already numbered. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. That compliment means a lot to me, Jerry. I'd already told my family about 3 years before, listen, if you want to go somewhere, because they all have flying benefits, go now. Because I'm telling you, I'm not going to be sticking around much longer. I will tell you. As if I don't like something, I'm not going to do it. I'm not, even the benefit, I'm not going to do it. Okay? That's not me. Ask my parents. They asked me to do a lot of stuff that I don't want to do. And I would not do it. So I'm not going to do it in my adult life where I actually have free will. So by 2019, after that emergency landing, I had said, okay, now for real, y'all need to, wherever you want to go, you better go now. You better go now. Because I'm telling you, the days are numbered. You hear me? And that November is when I had moved to Hawaii. And I'm so glad I did. Because that following March of 2020, when the pandemic hit, this could have been a different story of how I wanted to move to Hawaii, but I was too afraid to. And then the pandemic hit, and then I never got to go. And then I don't have that story. I don't have that story. In fact, I have the quite opposite. I was so happy. It was one of the first times where I was living exactly where I wanted to live. The island was closed, so thank you. There was like me and just all the other, thank you for my Chaco strawberries of the full-time residents. I mean, it was like Hawaii was 100 years ago. And I was able to just be with myself and say, you did it. And like, wow. And then for the aviation industry, the pandemic really had created such a wave of discomfort. Because everyone in aviation, that was everything. I mean, no one was flying. I even thought, wow. Everything that I loved and that was a staple in my life is no longer. I mean, there was masks on the plane and a lot of routes weren't being flown. And I said, yeah, I'm okay. I'm ready. I'm ready for what's next. I'm ready to speak. I'm ready to start. I'm ready. I've had one dream. I've accomplished one dream. So many dreams in that one dream. And I've done it once and I will do it again. Because I've done it once. I've seen myself do it once. I will do it again. And I have more knowledge on how to build this new dream. And I'm actually ready. And my mom would say, or some of the old church people would say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I was ready. I was ready. So when the airlines offered the early retirement, I said, I'm 2 hands, I'll put my foot up. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. This chance won't come again. Where I can bow out and keep my flying benefits and have all of these extra, all these accoutrements, all these extras. because typically for retirement, you have to be over a certain age with over 20 years. But because of this time, the airline said if you had over 10 years, you can take the early retirement with all of these extras. And I said, me, because I've done it. And at this time, I'm taking up space for an individual who will be just as excited as I was when I started. I want to allow that space for them to come. And that's, to me, communicating with the universe. The space is open for the next to come. And that's what I did. And I often have my friends who are flight attendants or still flying. They say, well, Hope, don't you miss flying? Well, sure, sometimes, but that doesn't stay in my mind. Like yes, thank you, D-Way, because it is happening. I don't miss it so much that I crawl onto the floor into a fetal position and cry and say, I just miss flying. That doesn't happen. I miss elements, or I will hear something, or it will be a special day, or I will see something in a store, but then it's fleeting. You ate gorgeous. You wanted to come in here to say you ate gorgeous. I haven't ate gorgeous. Thank you, though. I think I know what you're saying. I appreciate you. It's a thought. And so what? You are sorry? Yeah, some people have told me I'm sorry too. So I ate gorgeous and I am sorry. I received that. And so what? It doesn't define me, but so what if I miss something? You know how I said, oh, I'll leave you. Sometimes I miss them. My life goes on. My life will still go on. I'm not going to refrain from doing something for the fear of missing it. In fact, I don't even have that thought. For me to truly say I loved something is for me to let go. I loved flying, every element. I am self-proclaimed the best flight attendant in the universe, honestly. I always will find a solution. I'm always positive, and I challenge myself to find a solution. And I would challenge myself to not let anything get to me. To this day, nothing gets to me. And I'm always amazed at just the simplest things will take an individual out of their calm selves. And that is definitely going to happen during the day. But it seems that individuals, once you learn self-regulation, life can be very easy. Emotional regulation. Being able to regulate your emotions. Being able to sit calmly and stay in a not reactive, but a respectful, responsible space creates a whole different world. There's really nothing you can do that would make me upset. I don't notice if someone cuts me off when I'm driving. They probably didn't even notice me. I don't take it personally. I don't think this person got up today to cut me off, me, Hope, at this time, 1:27 in the... But people are, as my father would say, people aren't thinking about you. He would also say, no one cares about you except me and your mother. We love you. Now that's slightly toxic. However, I do understand the point that he was making. Most individuals really aren't concerned with you. They're concerned with them. In fact, they're only thinking about them. And thinking about whatever's going on in their life, or them having money, or what am I going to eat for dinner, or did that person mean to her? They aren't thinking about you. And so I know it's not me, it's something there. So So what? If I allow anything outside of myself to take me off of my calm, hydrated, blessed, abundant, wealthy, healthy self, you are taking my life force from me. And I know that as a flight attendant. Trust me, you are constantly. I've had a training ground for this, a real training ground, and then I've learned to transmute anything that would be perceived as negative as something. How can I use this for my best self? And I remember when my father had a stroke 8 years ago, and I love my parents. I'm definitely a daddy's girl. He provided an exceptional example of what a man is, and what a father is, and what a partner is, and what a supporter is. And he is a survivor of post-traumatic stress disorder because he is a Vietnam War veteran. My father flew the Hueys in Vietnam. He was a pilot, and then he was a flight instructor afterwards. So I would speak to him about my post-traumatic stress disorder. And that's where I first fell in love with planes and aviation, because my dad would put us in the car and we would drive to the little airport and watch planes take off and land. And he would say, that's a 737, and I just loved it. Like, oh my gosh. So when my father had his stroke 8 years ago, which is really your body just saying, I'm giving up. This stress is too much. Like, and he had a very severe stroke. And it was the first time I had saw my parents in such a vulnerable state, and saw my mother in such a vulnerable state. This is a man she's been with for almost 50 years, and seeing that, and her tears and her expressions of grief and sorrow, and seeing my father in a state where he had to relearn how to walk, and his fine motor skills, and how to hold a pencil, and how to talk, and all of these things. And what I learned is there is nothing beneficial that comes from stress. Ever. There is nothing beneficial that ever comes from stress. Ever. In fact, the increasing increments of stress that you allow on yourself, yeah, and they're never a burden. My father will never be a burden. He's always a gem. Like, he's always a gem. Always. He's like an emerald in my life. And I learned from that, because I learned this resilience from my parents and my father. He didn't say, I'm not going to relearn all this. No. And we were there as a family every day while he was in the rehabilitation center for 4 months, and learning. And also while I was there, I witnessed the other individuals that didn't have that support, and what that means when you're just there and you don't have that visiting family. And the nurse practitioners would say, actually, family increases the healing process. I said, stress, man, what am I to stress about? Someone cut me off. Someone didn't say thank you. Someone didn't call me back. No, no. If it's under my control, then I'll find the solution. If it's not in my control, it has nothing to do with me. And the love and support from my family is also why I can allow myself just to try anything, because they just love and support. Yeah, we're there. I remember calling them and saying, I'm going to take the early out from the airline. And my dad said, good for you. You made a great choice. I know you weighed it out in your mind. And I know you'll know what's next. And we'll be here waiting to see what your next move is. And I love you. I said, that's all I need. Exactly. I figure everything out. I got to figure this out. This is why I get into these situations. Hope you got yourself into it. Figure it out. Sometimes you just got to figure it out. And I share this with people. Everything in life is figure outable. Now you got to give yourself space. You have to give yourself the space to figure it out. But everything is figure outable. Everything. The moment you say I can't, that's not helpful. I say I have the solution. I'm allowing the solution has arrived. I have everything I need to figure this out. I have everything I need for the solution. I am the solution. I have the solution. The solution has arrived. And I just keep repeating that. I am the solution. I am the solution. I am the solution. I am the solution. Because we are. We are equipped with everything we need to figure anything out at every time in life. Now, it may take that time actually happening for you to say, oh, this is how I'll do it. But for me to say, I don't think I'll have it and worry about it, that doesn't do anything. That's wasted energy. Just start. If you get there, you'll get it. Everything is figure outable. Everything. Everything. Stress doesn't help with that. And I remember my dad, because he's a post-traumatic disorder survivor, sometimes that would kick in. And I've seen him lose it, but I've seen him also be able to work himself into a way of, you just have a conversation with a person and he would say, Hope, listen, the moment you lose your cool, the moment that you raise your voice above the other person's voice, the moment that you feel that agitation, you've lost. You've lost, because it will only increase. Staying calm and taking yourself out of it, because it's not about you. It's typically the other person. It's not about you. Staying calm is always the first step to the solution. A solution never comes from yelling and cursing and I'm throwing a punch. That's not a solution. Yes, I like being the bigger person. I challenge myself like, okay, I'm saying definitely calm in this. This isn't, let me just listen to it. And often people aren't even listening. They're just talking. Well, then so what? Then they do. So you don't even know that. That's an assumption. How do you know what someone sees you as when you're calm? You don't. Unless you ask them. And even if they say that, so what? Yeah. I'm listening on the plane when there needed a solution to be found. Oftentimes people just want someone to listen. Sometimes they don't even want a solution. They just want to be heard. They just want to get it out and to listen and to actually listen, because that's a skill. I'm listening. I'm not formulating a response. I'm not thinking about what I had last night for dinner. I'm open and available and in a space to receive what you're saying, and that's it. I don't know, D-Way. Listen, I don't like that question. Do you want kids? No. I will have everything. If I wanted a kid, that's easy to do. I will have a partner and we will build a foundation and we will create a family. But do I want kids? It doesn't go like that for me. It's a whole experience, because that's what I saw and that's what's best for me. So for me to say that it's not, that's like not having one piece of the puzzle for me. The easiest thing to do is have a kid. I got several friends that have them by default. Okay. That's easy to do. I will have my complete foundation, which is a partner that we have both chosen and it is right for us, and setting a foundation for the next that we will create to allow them to blossom into whatever they would like to do. That is my formula. Yes, you're welcome. Yeah. Once you're out of character and it just builds, and then your armpits get all sweaty, you get all hot, blood pressure goes up. Hey, no high blood pressure for me. In fact, when I go to the doctor, they say, hope you have really low blood pressure. Like it's almost too low. Keep it that way, okay? Keep it that way, okay? Ain't no high blood pressure around here. It's only good living. I'll figure it out. And to me, I do believe everything just works out. I believe everything works out. At times I have to allow the space. But I know what I put out. And I trust myself. I trust my intuition. I trust the people that came before me, or maybe my angels, or a greater force that I can't label. But I've been all over the world and I've just seen these miraculous things that some people call it Allah, some people call it God, some people may call it Buddha, some people may call a different saint. To me, it's this something that's so large and miraculous, I choose not to put a name on it. And I know things work out. So for me to even force something, things come to me with ease. When I gotta force it, it's just not for me. And that's a lesson to learn. Yeah, but people are people. I also allow people just to show up. I have no expectation. My expectation is for a person to show up for who they are in that moment. I don't say, I expect you to say please and thank you. I don't know if that was taught to you. I don't know if that's even in your... I don't know. All I know, for me, the gift of experiencing another human being is to experience that human being in that time. That's the gift. Just to truly experience, to listen, to hear, to understand. Not judge what you say and that's not right and let me tell you why it's not right and you're right. I don't do that. No. I'm not even seeking that. I'm not listening to tell you what you're doing is wrong, how it's wrong, why I judge you, why you should do this, why you should... That is a what? No. No. I'm far more emotionally intelligent and compassionate just for the human experience. People go through really difficult things. And through experiencing that with people I've encountered in life, that's how I choose to show up. People are people. They are what they are. That's just it. And I just allow a person to show up as themselves. And yeah, the universe. No, I am not. So, also, because of my travels and everything that I've experienced, I also don't have that expectation. Like, you should know this. Why don't you know this? They do this in Israel. Why don't... most people, no one's had the same experience as me. I don't know your experience. I do see that. Listen, we got to start seeing each other as human beings. And this is why I said, this is why I'm going into speaking. I really started to feel that we've stopped seeing each other as these human beings. We label so quickly. Oh, I know them because they're from this country and they're this gender and they're you don't know. You don't know this person. Every single person is an individual. And my father would say it's a fallacy that you're taught to treat everyone the same. You don't. The way you talk to someone who's 10 years old is not how you talk to a colleague of yours. The way you talk to someone who's hard of hearing is not how you talk to someone who's just learning English. As an exceptional communicator, I am listening to adapt to the best style of communication for this interaction. That's it. I don't treat everyone the same. I treat everyone, I engage with every individual in love and respect. And then we build from there. And I've seen so many cultures and so many ways of life and so many ways of doing things and so many ways. The way they do something in India isn't the way they do it in Brazil, but it works. The way someone does it in Kentucky is not the way they do it in India or Italy, but it works. Then that's what they do. I don't think anything. Maybe they do. If someone identifies as an animal, then that's what they identify as. So what? That's not for me to say, no, you're not. For them, it's real. So, okay, sure. For me, I'm not here to pull that apart. Listen, I've really lived a lot. I've had a lot of different experiences, specifically with different places in the world. By 30, I had seen 50 countries. So I had already an expanded light. I had an expanded knowledge of just the world. Most individuals don't leave their hometown. So for me to expect that you would know something that someone does somewhere else, that's ridiculous. That's not compassionate. I'm not here to judge you. If you believe that you are Joan of Arc, then maybe you are. Maybe I'm in front of Joan of Arc. I don't know. I allow you to show up. So maybe there's something for me to learn from that. What I now experience in life is everything is for me to learn. There's something for me to learn from every interaction. And if I'm judging, I'm often not learning. Now, this is a practice that I have to constantly check in with. However, I allow people to show up how they want to show up. You never know the traumas people have gone through. People are carrying a lot. People carry so many traumas and violations of their bodies, violations of their space, violations of their thoughts, of their voices, often from childhood, but throughout their life. And they've gotten to this moment. That's a strong individual. And I may not have to accept it, but I can allow it to exist without a judgment. I just allow it to exist. And often, this is easy for me because, as I said, I've had such a expansive life. Often, the individuals that definitely want to tell you what's right, and what's wrong haven't seen so much. How can you tell me for certain? How can you tell me for certain that what you're saying is the truth and you haven't ever left your hometown? Ever. So how are you supposed to test that truth? Do you know how many times I had to break the barriers of things that I had been carrying or taught through life? Because now I'm living in a different country. And now what I believe isn't really truth here. So I have to, I have to like let go of that. And that is uncomfortable. That is really uncomfortable. That's the only way. That's the only way. To me, the only way, yes, you will. You will. All I do is come on here and talk. I got so much to talk about. I surely do. But to release what you carry, especially because I no longer label myself. I'm just Hope. Whatever you put label on me, that's the label you put on me. Most of the labels that you will put on me, I won't fit into. Whatever you want to find, sure. Everyone is in their own truth. And I believe we all have our own truths. It's not the truth, it's your truth. It's a truth. And there's limitless truths, sure. For me to be so adamant that your truth isn't the truth, that says more about me. I actually don't even have to ingest it. You can just say, oh, okay. You know, that's it. Yeah, of course. I've been everywhere. I don't care what, listen, children don't have the same eyes we have. So I don't really pay too much attention to that. That is a bigger conversation, especially within the context of the U.S. And let me add to it, I lived outside of the U.S. for about 10 years. So I have a completely different perspective. But kids are free to learn whatever they want to learn. I don't really have any hard truths of that. They don't see it through it. We're labeling it like, oh, that's bad. A child doesn't know. A child is looking at things that we don't even see. Allow a child to just be a child and grow into what they choose to be. Oftentimes that's our fear. But that, again, that's for another time. Thank you. So to become expanded means to really, I would say, move away from what's most comfortable. I don't know, robbed of innocence. How is that? A child doesn't see it that way. A child doesn't even perceive it that way. You're perceiving it that way as an adult, possibly. But then again, I don't know. I haven't been in my 7-year-old brain for a long time. But oftentimes, we are attaching it to our perception as adults. And when I'm relating it to the U.S. specifically, yes, I used to fly Puerto Rico all the time. This place is weird. This is only something that's spoken about here in the U.S. Because you go to a place like Switzerland or Germany or most European countries that have severely lower percentages of teenage pregnancy and of people being sexually abused, because they're taught about sex and bodies very early, like 5. So it's not overtly sexualized like it is in the US. They think, oh yeah, it's just a human body. They don't see it as anything outside of that. Here you do. Because here a woman's body is sexualized. It's exposed breast. It's sexualized. Whereas if you're in Switzerland, you're used to going to the thermal spa and seeing naked people at age of 4. So it's not something that is shunned. It's not something that's frowned upon. And it's not something that's sexualized in such a distasteful manner. Sex is talked about. Bodies are talked about. Naked bodies are just a body. It's not, oh, wow, it's sexualized. It's not that. So a child's perception is just like, oh, it's a body. Oh, people have sex, of course. Yeah, it's known. By age 7, that's here within the US. So I always depict it in the countries that we're speaking about, because the US is crazy. I mean, there's things that happen here that are not understood in a lot of places in the world, but even that, there's certain countries that say, why are you even why is that an issue? Why is that something that's even on the news? How someone's sexual orientation is doesn't matter. It's for them. It's not feared that a child knows someone likes the similar sex. It's just not really a big deal, but it's also not something that is a controversy. It really isn't. However, I'm aware of that because I have been outside. And I'm aware that you wouldn't know if you're not. It's just like... we all are human. Like, yes, absolutely. It's safe. Dubai, you can leave your wallet open on the table and walk away for 3 days and you'll come back and it's there. This place is like, well, this is partially why I'm in Hawaii, but it's like this. This is a whole nother conversation. Tracy, I completely understand, yes. And I have been there as well as other Middle Eastern countries. I don't know about that either. Power, everyone has their own individual power. It's how you view it. However, I see myself as the power because I truly am. We as people are the power. If you truly want to change something, if you gather together, you can change it. However, I'm aware of my power. And I know that. I love the Big Island too. I went skydiving on the Big Island. Thank you. I choose to be positive. I went skydiving for my birthday at the first slot because my plan was, it's my birthday. I want to jump into this new year at like 6 a.m. as the sun. Of course. Well, yeah, you're outside of the U.S. There's several countries that have 0% homelessness. That's consistent. There's several countries. Again, that's a whole nother conversation. And yes, most countries have that. In fact, every country outside of the U.S. has that. We're the anomaly. I love Hawaii as well. And that's referring to you, Tracy. Yes, most places to live as a human being is, good morning, to have a healthy body, which means receiving medical attention without the fear of, do I have the money? As well as a education system that is at the highest tier, which is free of charge, because to have a diligent, respectable, smart, intelligent, well-meaning population means to provide a education and a medical system that will facilitate such. So yes, and that is another conversation. And yeah, I jumped out of a plane and it was fantastic. So I'm always not shocking myself, but doing these things that continue to make me feel like, yeah, let's live. And this is my gift, I believe, to share words of encouragement and There's always what ifs, but so what? What if you did it? What if it was successful? What if it changed your life in the most magical way? What about if it worked out for your benefit? What if it was made for you instead of the what if it doesn't work out? What if this is nah, you can have the what if, just put that affirmation on the end. What if this is the best thing for me? What if this is what I need? What if this works out to my highest favor? What if this gives me the strength that I need in this moment? What if this is for me? What if? What if? What if I stop saying what if? And what if I start saying I am? I am doing it. I am moving forward. I am ready. I am in motion. I am prepared. It is for me. It is done. That's the conversation. It can start with what if. Just don't allow it to stop with what if. I have filled that role for others. However, it's probably because I have a great therapist and I have great ways to relieve myself. Sometimes it's a therapist. Sometimes it's going out for a run. Sometimes it's making a cake. Sometimes it's drinking some water. Sometimes it's getting a massage. It's all of that. But keep asking, what do I need? Because we always need to release. Sometimes that's friends. Sometimes that's thoughts. Sometimes it's my hair. What's my idea? Clarify. I'll just need it more clarified because I don't know how to structure a response for that. Or I do know. I would just like it to be constructed in a way that I can give you a response that would be meaningful. Because emotional intelligence is pivotal for life. And it's pivotal to continue to evolve. And even labeling it a third world country, just label it, yeah, so what? This place is a third world. Do you Again, as I said, that's another conversation, okay? We're keeping it uplifted, and I have thoroughly enjoyed this. My intention was only to come on for like an hour, and I've superseded that. And the fact is, I showed up. And I'm a hopeful, and that's what I say. This is what we are, the hopefuls, the ones that say, yeah, I'm full of hope. We are these positive people that you will get annoyed with because we are very positive. And we are solution minded. I don't care about the problem. I'm already thinking of the solution. If you come to me with the problem without a solution, reverse that. Know the problem and provide 3 solutions, because then it's already done. And that's what hopefuls are. And I am the leader of the hopefuls somewhat. So it is 11:16. It's time for me to go to sleep because I'm back on my running in the morning. And I have thoroughly enjoyed this. As I said, this is what I do. It's my gift. It's my dream. I'm thoroughly walking in my passion. And I am surrounded by love by every individual that has found something meaningful, helpful, entertaining in any way. And that's why I show up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is my favorite, okay? Because I have my favorite, let me tell you. My favorite are like, I love vintage Levi's cutoffs. I talked about this earlier. I love my vintage Levi's. When am I coming back on? Tomorrow. I don't have a time because I say I do what I want, when I'm inclined to. However, follow me, and also I upload all of my lives onto my YouTube page, which is the same, Hope is Speaking. So tomorrow I will upload this, and if you don't catch me, it's always on my YouTube the following day, and I go on live twice a day for a minimum of an hour. Today, I had so many messages. So I was on 3 hours earlier today, and now I've gone over 2 hours. And I'll also take little tidbits of this and put it on my TikTok. I'm finalizing dates because I will, oh, yes, thank you. But they have to be vintage. This is a speech with these vintage Levi's, because I was trying to get off, but now I have to talk about this. I had a friend who came to see me from London. We used to live in London together, and she came to the island, and I took her to this vintage shop, and she said, I want some vintage shorts, but I want them worn and broken into. And I said, yeah, but I know. And I used to sell vintage because every layover when I would travel, I would go thrift shopping all around the world. So I acquired so many beautiful things that I started selling online, and I styled photo shoots and all of that. So that was another life. However, one of my favorite statement and signature items is vintage Levi's. I love a vintage Levi high-waisted tapered like mom jean, which are the 512s. And I love vintage cutoffs. However, they take time. Like this takes time. To 501s, 501s are the statement, especially the button 501s. Those are the statement, and I remember the commercials. So yes, 501s are great. My favorite pair of Levi's in my closet that has traveled the world, and I've had them like at least 12 years, are Levi's 512s. But I have 501s, I have 511, I have a bunch. I gave away a lot, but I have a bunch. But to get them, you can always find them in secondhand stores. I love the red tab or the orange tab, because that means they were made before a certain time, and those are very unique. And salvage denim, I'll go off into denim. However, to get them so broken in, because I gotta show you, to get them this slouchy and soft and broken in, and there's like a hole in the pocket, you have to wear them. You have to wear them, and you have to bunch them up, and you have to like move around. Like it takes a lot of effort. And your body oils help break down the fibers. So you're not supposed to wash them often if you want them really soft and worn. Often collectors will say put them in the freezer. And there's people that haven't washed them in years because it helps break it down. Or if they do, it's only in cold water, like very hand wash, and then you let them dry in the sun. But the story is with my friend, she wanted to skip that step. She wanted these worn, broken down vintage cutoffs without having them worn and broken down. And that's not how it works. You could find it in a thrift store, but it's that 1 in a million. Your best bet is to make the investment and just wear it, and know in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, they will be custom to you. And maybe the pocket will have the wallet mark, and maybe when you spilled your lipstick or something, it takes time, and it's just with life. I have all these stories and this perception because I've taken time to try things and travel and relationships and heartbroken and find out what works for me and find out what doesn't work for me and learn about myself. It takes time to get that perfect fit for ourselves, for our lives, for the direction that we want to go in. And there is no shortcuts. I'll pay over, what do you tell, $80 is not a lot for jeans. I will. If well, there's no price that I won't pay for what I want. I will never limit myself for a price. And I love a leather jacket too, especially a worn leather jacket. But if I want it, I'll just buy it. I won't be limited, especially if it's vintage and vintage denim. Oh, I'll pay. That is something that isn't, yeah, I don't care. I want it. So I'll buy it, especially if it's vintage. It's one of a kind. It's worth it. I was a vintage collector and dealer, so I know how it is to source these things and how to find these things. For myself, I perfectly select all my things. Very much so, James. Yes. I only think in a rich man's way, a rich person. But I'm very rich in everything. I'm rich in love. I'm rich in hydration. I'm rich in spirit. I'm rich in every way. I would not have it anyway. However, I don't do anything regular as well. So that I don't understand, because everything that I do is rich and fabulous. And with that, now I'm going to get off. So I will, again, I'm on live Monday through Thursday, twice a day. I am in Hawaii, so I'm Hawaiian Standard Time. I believe I'm 5 or 6 hours behind East Coast time, 3 hours behind Pacific time. As I said, it's 11:24 my time. And I just come on, usually, I don't know, you can set a notification when I'm on. However, if you don't catch me on live, it will always be uploaded onto my YouTube channel. And I'm on Monday through Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, no. I'm living my life. I don't even hardly touch TikTok towards that time. However, if you don't find me on here during my live, it will be on YouTube, and it will always be an uplifting message. Wow, yeah, you're up early. That's usually like the time I would get up. That's why I need to go to sleep. Because I'm here to just speak positively and make people laugh, and just sometimes to divert your thinking away from the things that aren't serving us at all times. So I always close with the message of be the reflection of love of what you are, because we all come from this beautiful, infinite source of love. Continue to show up. Continue to show up. I showed up. I show up because this is honing my skill. This is honing my skill. Okay, you guys are both up quite early. So show up. Show up every day. Show up for yourself. Show up for whatever is important to you, and show up. And when you show up, make it look good. Like my vintage Birds of Paradise earrings, make it look good. Show up within the best part of yourself. Exactly. Or see you, or feel your energy, or just see that you showed up, so they are showing up. Exactly, Johnny. And buy the pair of vintage Levi's. That's the closing statement. Anytime you're at a thrift store, just buy it. Just buy it. Thank you. I get it from my mom. My mom definitely is not the type of shopper that you go somewhere with a budget. Because I would say, Mom, I like this. She's like, girl, get it in every color. Get it all. I'm like, Mom, yeah, you're right. I should. Get it all. Just get it all. Be like my mom. Just get it all. She says if you like it, buy it in every color. Sure. Why not? I feel the same way. So buy it in every color. It's just like life. Try it out. Try it out. It is. Yeah. Yeah, maybe you'll have to just get a larger size and get it altered. However, you'll make it work, Johnny. I believe in you. And I do believe in you. I love you and I believe in you. So continue to stay hopeful, and I will continue to speak the good news and make you laugh and make it look good. And thank you for joining me, everyone. We're in Africa. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, cool. We'll have to speak more about that, because most of my travels throughout the continent have been throughout the West Coast. several countries on the west coast of Africa. However, maybe that's something I'll speak about tomorrow. Yeah. Dutty viz. So, good morning, good night. I know, I could be from anywhere until I speak. Good morning, good night, good evening, good afternoon, bonne nuit, bonjour, bon dia, whatever you impart into that. And know that it keeps getting better. Because it does. And just keep believing that, because it does. And I'm the one to tell you. I will. Thank you so much, James. You're welcome. I will. Okay. Jambo, which is Swahili for hello. I will always. Who else am I going to sleep with? I'm one of them. I will always be with the angels, Kelly. Ciao.